What up, y'all? It's Mr. Black. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all I was gonna start making a few videos, pretty much about anything that go on through the day and shit. So I don't know. It's been crazy this week. You know what I'm saying? I live in Chicago. I had a little homie that's about like a week ago. You know what I'm saying? Get murdered, shot in the face, right in front of his people. Like shit's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was a shorty too. He was only like 19, 20, couldn't be no more than 21. You know what I'm saying? Had a baby and everything. And, this is what happened. This type of shit happened in Chicago all the time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people always try to figure out why is it like that and these people are savages and so forth and so on. And then my godfather passed away last week. That was kind of shady too, but we won't even get into all that. But right now, I'm talking about this whole death thing, and then like why people believe in God and why they don't. You know, I hear it all the time. There's no God. God can't be real. If God was real, why is all this bullshit happening? Why are kids getting killed and good people dying while bad people are running the world and why would somebody like that cause cancer and how can a guy do this? How can a guy do that? And I don't know if it's because they don't understand exactly what the entity of God represents or they fear it. I don't know. But for us as humans to try to justify the way things are, the way things God made it, into our own, like, this is what we believe, this is how we all thinking. So we're looking at it through a man's perspective and not particularly through a God's perspective. Death is scary for men because we don't really know what happens after the fact. There's either nothing, heaven, hell, purgatory, reincarnation. People go all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they fear it and they think that God is being evil because of the death and suffering of people. And I always say, why everybody gotta blame God? If you don't believe in God, then why you try to blame him for the things that are happening? Why don't you do something to fix it? You're here. You're the God of this world, right? That's what people believe that don't believe in God. Like, they're here to do what they can and essentially become a God themselves, hopefully, you know? And we just go and blame God for the things. And we don't know exactly what happens when you die, so we fear it. But if you're looking at it from God's perspective, really, what is death to God? For something that's always been, that means that obviously there's no time. If there's no time where he is, that means that he has no age. And if he has no age, that means there has no beginning or no end, meaning he's always been. And people can't wrap that part around their heads. Like, how is that possible? But you've been bred to just do whatever you can to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not bred to think like that. And it's just crazy because if there's no time, then we as humans feel lost. But in the universe or heaven, that doesn't mean anything. People say, "Oh, why is it taking them so long?" Like they say, 1,000 years to us could be like one day, and vice versa. So that concept of what's going on in his mind, he's like, "What are you talking about? It's been 2 seconds since Jesus came back up here. Y'all tripping." So and you got a man that has died and then was resurrected. You die and now you are alive, and then you go to heaven, which means you were conscious in your death for you to have to come out of Hades to be resurrected. And he tells me not to fear it. So, yeah, no, I've never seen him. I never talked to anybody that died, you know, and came back to life. All I got is from what the Bible says and stuff like that. But people always ask, you know, what's the point? What's the point of believing in God? Why? Why even do it? Like, you gotta do this, you can't have fun, you gotta. And it's like, who is you, the type of person to tell me, person that's never read the entire book of the Bible or has even questioned anything that is in it, can tell me what God is really like? Like, just how 200 years ago, if you were a woman and you cheated on your husband, you would get stoned to death and or killed, mutilated, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But if that happened now and you cheated on your husband and he stoned you, killed you, whatever, he would go to jail for life. Times has changed. So for you guys to sit there and be like, well, in the Old Testament, God said kill everybody like this. All these people were dying and this, and that, and the other. And it's like, now think about that for a second. If that's what God was doing, obviously there was something going on that we don't know yet on why he felt the need to kill these things, so-called people, which they really weren't people, because in a bunch of times they called them giants, especially through the Exodus, you know, and he wanted to kill all of these people. And supposedly, if you know anything about the giants in the book of Enoch or whatever, these giants are the fallen angels' offspring. When the angels came down and had sex with women, and they made the names of old and the legends that we know of today. Like, and that part goes over a lot of people's heads too. Because I'm a type of person that, like, there's no way civilization as a civilization all around the world, no means of contact or nothing, as you guys say, they all pretty much did the same thing around the same time. So it was all collectively like they knew what was up back then. And they were a lot closer to the fact of a God because of the fact that this was the time where humans have switched over from being God's creation to being pretty much an abomination with these mixed offspring of the fallen ones, angels, Nephilim, whatever you guys want to call it. And it's just so crazy because you sit there and you're like, Sodom and Gomorrah blew up because people over there, nobody had any pure thoughts. Everybody was evil, and they even tried to rape two of the angels. The men did. Two male-looking angels. The people in that town tried to rape them, and God said no. Bye. And then you look at the world right now, right? And he says it's going to be like in the days of Noah, like in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I don't know about you guys, but the way this world's looking right now, how horrible was it in Sodom and Gomorrah for God to intervene then that He's not doing it now? Because there are still people out there with kind hearts that have thoughts of helping people. Imagine a world where nobody did. And we're getting there now, and it's scary. But this is not a reason to be afraid. You know, people, like I said, people think they got to change and do these drastic things to be able to worship God, Elohim, you know, Yeshua, Jesus, same too. There was no J in ancient Hebrew, so it was Yeshua, Yeshua. So either way, you know, and these people, these people did, they did things that to us seems crazy, seems impossible. You know, that's why I've never been into the whole we are the smartest that we've ever been in life right now. I really don't believe that. I really think knowledge or the term knowledge is completely different depending on where you are from or actually what's going on around you, really. Because you could be a brain surgeon but be out in the wilderness and now you're an idiot because you don't know what to do inside the wilderness and vice versa. So knowledge is something that only is important if you put yourself in the situation to make whatever knowledge you have important. So what is knowledge? What is learning? What do you know? What do you think true knowledge is? And a lot of people think going to college and getting some letters in front of their names and stuff. And that's all cool, you know. That's all cool. But I bet you this: if you went, me and you went, and we got stranded somewhere, that doctorate in mathematics or even fucking science or whatever, like that's not gonna help you, and you're gonna be looking for me for help. Like you don't know how to start a fire, you don't know how to hunt, you don't tie knots, don't know how to do anything. So at the end of the day, if something went down and we couldn't go to the grocery store, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, where do you think we're gonna be? How are we gonna eat? Oh, we're just gonna eat fruits and vegetables. 90% of you guys don't know what's edible out there unless it's in your grocery store. You don't know if you can go over there and eat that plant or not. Like if they don't sell it at the store, how would you know? You just gonna go walk up to some random mushrooms and start eating? Like, yeah, survival of the fittest then. But like I said, dude, like I know I got off topic and shit. I'm talking about death. Now I'm going into something completely different. My bad, y'all. My bad. But all I'm saying is, I've always asked this question: if you're right, and there is no God, there's no God, there's no afterlife. Once we die, it's over. We're dust, whatever. You know, I don't see the fault or anything that I'm gonna think that I should have acted differently just because I acted the way my Lord asked me to act and love and treat people with kindness and humble yourself and you know don't do things to people that you don't want them to do to you. That's fair, you know. Like I'll die happy. I'll die loved and missed. I'll probably have a nice big funeral with a bunch of friends and people mourning my death and loving me and remembering me. But and that's if I'm not gonna be anything anyway besides dust anyway, at least the memory of me keeps me alive. So I try to make that happen to every person I meet, every person I know. But if I'm right and you're wrong, like, guess what happens? I don't even got to tell you what happened, man. That's a scary thought. Now, I'm not saying, oh, just believe in God because you're afraid. Like, believing in God installs fear in you, period. It comes instantly once you get the grand scope of just exactly who this God person is and what he represents and what he has done. It's scary, especially the way the world's going now. There's no right or wrong way to believe and worship your God. I just pray that you guys really do the research and make sure you feel correct about this because it's your soul. And for the people who don't believe in God, that's cool. We can still be homies. We can still debate, whatever the case may be. And I agree with you guys 100%. You don't believe in God. You think that when you die, you're just going to turn into the earth right back to where you came from, cease to exist. Because that is exactly what is going to happen to anybody who is a non believer of Yeshua and God. That's what happens. He says, you will be the ashes underneath the feet of the saved. Ashes aren't alive. You know, this whole hell for eternity, that is a lie. What kind of God will send somebody to hell forever over a span of no more than 80, 90 years of doing whatever the fuck? I don't care if he kills somebody every day, but come on now, man. That's what kind of God is like that? No. When it says the eternal flames of hell, it's saying that no matter what you do, these flames will not go out and will extinguish anything that it goes into, not engulfs and incinerates anything that is put in it. Nothing can be done. That is what the eternal flame is. But you going to hell for eternity, that's not just. That's not right. That don't even make any sense. You know, y'all really gotta watch out on them Catholics anyway. But I digress. I just want people to understand that believing in God does not mean that you are not doing your best to have a life that's happy and successful. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that you have to financially struggle. It does say it's hard for somebody who's rich to go to heaven because a lot of rich people don't want to give up all their money to people that need it. But those type of people that wouldn't do that are obviously not even worthy of going there. Nobody's worthy, So it's just personal. Like, I'd rather pick the side that leaves me eternally happy, besides the side that's eternally damned or totally forgotten and disappears, cease to exist. So I don't know. I'm just asking if you guys got any questions, any rebuttals, anything that you think I should have talked about. Go ahead, let me know. I always respond to everybody. Obviously, it's a new page. Like and subscribe, please. I'm just trying to talk truth, and no matter what it's about, ask me anything. I'm always out here. Y'all be good. It's Mr. Black up out of here.